guys, and welcome to the kitchen. Today we've got a special treat. We are going to be showing you how to prepare morel mushrooms. Now, morels are not something you're going to find in most grocery stores. You might find them dehydrated. Won't very often find them fresh. They're a delicacy and they grow in our area at this time of year. It's the spring. And the conditions have to be just right for a morel to grow. And fortunately, where my parents live, they seem to grow quite plentifully every year. This is my second feed off of their morel mushrooms for the year. But what they lack in being attractive, they more than make up for in how they taste, because they almost have a taste of well-cooked, delicious roast beef if you cook them properly. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, when you first get a morel, or when they come to me, this is normally how they look. So right out of the ground, and you can see there's still dirt. So the key with these is mostly about the prep, because there is really nothing fun about biting into one of these beautiful mushrooms only to find grit and to get that kind of crunch that comes with biting down on dirt. That's not good. So what I like to do is I like to take a sharp knife and I start by cutting off this bottom part here with the soil still attached and just get rid of that. Then soak them in a sink of cool salted water just for a few minutes. That's going to do a couple of things. It's going to kill any critters that might, be living in the little pores of the mushroom, or maybe that have gotten into the stem. It's going to kill them, and it's going to help flush out any grit. Change the water a couple times and just, kind of gently agitate them. You do have to be very careful because they are fragile. They're very, very fragile. Once you've gotten all the grit out, what I like to do is I have these in my salad spinner, because you want to get as much of that water out as you can before you put them in a pan. And these are going to give off a ton of moisture on their own, so you really don't want to add anything extra to the pan. So these have all been soaked and cut and cleaned, and now all I'm going to do is slice them in half, and then we're going to show you how I like to prepare them. Okay, so we've got our morel mushrooms sliced in half, and when you're doing that, it's a good idea to give another sort of inspection under the cap. I'll show you here what it looks like. Can you see that? Is that okay? Mm-hmm. You can have a look in there and just make sure that there's no critters, no mold, nothing that you don't want under the cap of the mushroom. And I just like to cut them in half because I find that when you are pan searing them, you can get a nice kind of crispy sear on one side. So what we're going to do, don't need too much for this. We're just going to use some butter and some olive oil. This is my cast iron skillet. It's well seasoned and it's smoking hot right now. So we're just going to put the mushrooms in. They're almost immediately going to start giving off a whole lot of liquid, and that's fine. We're going to either dump the liquid off or let it evaporate. And then we're going to add our butter and oil. And as soon as they hit that hot pan, you can really smell. And if you come over here with the camera, you can see immediately how much liquid is coming off those mushrooms. See? There is no liquid at all in this pan. This is simply from the morels. And yes, they are going to cook down quite substantially, but they're going to be delicious. But first, we have to get this liquid out of here. So we're on a high heat, and we're just going to continue to gently kind of agitate until I think we've pretty much got all the liquid out of them. See the huge amount of liquid that has come off of these. So that's good. They've reduced down quite a lot. So we're going to use a little spatter screen here to keep the morels in the pan, but I'm going to dump off the liquid. And now we're going to add about 1.5 tablespoons of unsalted butter and probably 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Now, still over a high heat, and this is what's going to give us the nice sear on these. There may still be some more liquid that comes out, but don't worry, that's going to evaporate away as we saute them. Okay, so any residual liquid that was in here has come out. And how do you know when they're done? Well, you just kind of go by color. If you can see here, this little one has a nice golden kind of sear on the bottom. That's kind of what you're going for. So you're starting to get it here. What you want to do is they're like scallops. You want to kind of put them in the pan, and you don't want to fuss with them too much because they are fragile. They will kind of crumble and fall apart, but these are just about perfect. So once you've got a nice sear on one side, I don't worry too much about the other side. They're going to be perfectly delicious, and all we're going to need now is a couple of ingredients to get these ready to make a really nice appetizer. So let's go do that now. Okay, so these are perfect. You can see the underside has that beautiful kind of golden char on it. And we're just going to divide these among a couple plates, and lucky us, there's just 2 of us tonight, so we are going to have a feast here. But normally, this would probably be enough to make an appetizer for about 4 adults. But that's okay. They come around but once a year. Alright. So, the way I like to serve them is pretty simple. I like to just do a drizzle of balsamic glaze. And a few grates of Parmesan cheese. Some people do this in a cream sauce. Some people eat them just the way they are right out of the pan. There's really no wrong way. It's whatever your preference is. I've tried them all different ways. This just happens to be my favorite way of eating them. And now all that's left to do is the taste test. Okay, so Walter's going to do the official taste testing for us. How would you describe what they taste like?
If bacon were a meat, it would be like bacon.
If bacon were a meat. Well, words of wisdom. Okay, so got my red wine, and I'm going to give a try here. They are delicious. Only available for such a very short time, but as with any mushroom, you need to be sure that you know what you're getting. There is a mushroom that looks very much like a morel. It's called a false morel, and it's deadly, deadly poisonous. So you must make sure you know that what you're eating is safe. But we have been eating these mushrooms from my parents' lawn for years, and they are really delicious. So try it if you get the opportunity to make some. Let me know if you make them like this or how you make them. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss future videos. Take care, and we'll see you back in the kitchen soon.